Good evening, folks. It is forecaster Mark Spencer from Ohio News and Weather. We are tracking a tornado warning currently for much of Williams County that goes until 9:45 p.m. At 9:01, there was a confirmed tornado over Hamilton, Indiana, or near Angola, moving east at 35 miles per hour. Let's take a look at some of the places that could be impacted here. Eden, Blakesley, Valley Springs Addition, and that's really about it. Just north of Edgerton there. Berlin is in this as well, far north, north central part of the county along the Ohio Turnpike there. Our tornado warning storm is actually going to be right here. Let me just kind of circle this. It's going to be right here around Russell's Point that we're looking currently. If we go to our velocity scan, yeah, that just updated actually. So it's actually right along the border. So let's just do stop drawing. Oh, let's do start drawing. I'm going to get these tools down, guys, I promise. Right here is where our circulation is that we're watching right now. And again, that's just west of the state line. That's this north-south white line you see there. And we are going to see if we can get, yep, that's it, okay. Yeah, we're gonna be too high for that. Okay, cool. So that's what we're looking right now. And you just have to bear with me on some of the tools. We are flying solo tonight. Okay, so we're looking right here. This is our circulation right here, just to the west of the Ohio state line. That's this white line right here. That's the state line between Ohio and Indiana. This is just getting ready to cross that state line. Again, when they issued the warning, they did have a confirmed tornado. There was a couple questions on that actually coming up in our internal chat here just a moment ago. Apparently there's a storm chaser on this particular cell. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on this. I know it's moving into a generally rural part of Williams County. We'll stick with this. We did have a tornado warning down in Auglaize County earlier, and that did produce a couple funnel clouds. There were a couple funnel clouds reported around Salina, and a possible brief touchdown. So far, we were able to confirm no damage has been reported anywhere at this time. So we'll keep an eye on that. We do have a threat for severe weather tomorrow night as well. We'll talk a little bit about that once we get through this particular warning here. In the meantime, we will continue just to cover this right now. This particular tornado warning, we're just going to go to a single site here. There we go. I do have the chat up. I will do my best to monitor the chat. If you have a couple questions, again, this is just now moving into Ohio at this time, and I believe we just got an update there. We did. And it's pretty much right over the state line right now. So we're coming into Eden. If you're in Eden, you should take shelter. We don't know if this particular storm is still on the ground, or the tornado is still on the ground or not. Again, it was confirmed earlier. But here's Eden, here's Route 49. We got Townships Roads 1 and 2 there where that rotation is right now. And again, that's pretty much moving due east. Blakesley, that is going to pass real close to you, probably just to your north, but it's pretty much going to follow, looks like Township Road or County Road 1 right there as it continues east. It'll pass just to the south side of Eden there. There's our new scan there, and that has broken up a little bit. That's some good news there. Looks like they did just issue a update here on the tornado warning. That's the flashing and some of the sounds you hear. As of right now, this is going back to radar indicated rotation. So that's good news because now we're talking about the tornado possibly lifting. This could cycle a little bit too. So that's something we got to keep an eye on and just kind of monitor. And I may have been a little bit ahead where that rotation is. Looking at the latest warning here, it's probably a little bit further to the west. It looks like it's near Hamilton, Indiana. So that's going to be, well, it's not going to come up on the map. That's okay. Not a big deal. Looks like it's not quite to the border yet, but yeah, there was some rotation out ahead of that there. I'm thinking right now our rotation is actually going to be right here, guys. Let's see, let's do, oh boy, okay. We'll get it here. We will, promise. Okay. Stop drawing, draw. Right here, I think, is our rotation. There's not a whole lot there right now. Again, a lot of farmland out here, but I believe that's going to be our rotation. Out ahead of that might have been something else. So my apologies on that. It's not a strong rotation by any stretch of the imagination here, and yeah, we're not seeing anything that's showing, yeah, there's definitely something on the ground. So could be a wall cloud, could be a funnel cloud. Rotation is not super strong, so we're not expecting, again, any sort of long track tornadic activity right now, which is great news. Let's see, we got that on. Okay, cool. Making sure we got everything we need here. Excellent. So yeah, this particular tornado warned cell is back here. It's just following State Route 427. That'll be State Route 34 in the Eden there in Ohio. And now we're seeing a little bit better inflow here. So now we're getting this hook, right? So we got air coming into the storm this way, and we got air wrapping around the storm this way. And so here's our area of rotation. So again, if you are in Eden, you should be taking shelter right now. If you're anywhere along State Route 34 from pretty much the state line due east right now, I would be taking shelter. Same along, whether that's Township Road or County Road 1, I'm not real sure. County Road or Township Road 2 there as well. But yeah, I would be taking shelter right now, because this could redevelop and produce once again. These are kind of little, I call them nuisance supercells. You never know really what they're going to do. They don't have great structure, but it doesn't take much to get a quick little spin up to happen again either. So just keep that in mind as we go through the next several minutes here. We're going to stay on as long as we need to with this particular tornado warning. Hopefully there'll be no more after this. We really weren't expecting the tornadic type weather tonight. Maybe a severe storm or two was going to be about it, but we weren't expecting any sort of tornadic activity this evening. Let's see if we get an update on our velocity scan here in just a moment too. This will not be heading towards Bowling Green. You got a long way to go, and it will definitely not be heading there. I do have someone else in a chat looking at another cell, I believe out west near Angola, Indiana. I believe, yes, that's going to be way up here. They're watching this particular cell. We'll keep an eye on it there. They were noting some, I believe, some broad rotation in it. Yeah, very broad for sure. Okay, but nothing crazy. We'll keep an eye on it though. Sorry, I'm just clicking through a couple of things here. The velocity really not showing a whole lot right now on either side. We don't see the reds and greens coming together like we thought. But here's the deal with this. Sometimes we don't get those indications on radar, and sometimes all we have is this little hook, and that's the best sometimes we get. We don't always get that red and green together, or what we call gate-to-gate shear, to show up and give us any additional indication as to what exactly is going on. So sometimes this is the best we get, especially with, I call these little nuisance supercells. Sometimes even the weakest rotation that shows up on the radar is what ends up producing a pre-tornado. So that's why we take this kind of seriously here. But we do have some shear just out ahead of it too. So it is getting fed in with inflow ahead of it. We have some air also coming in within this dry sector as well. So it's one of these odd things where we have kind of the potential tornado which is now crossing the state line just to the west of Eden there, kind of behind all the rest of this here, right? We don't always see that. I'm not really sure where the picture went, but I'm sure we'll get it back in a second here. That's really strange why we lost that here. I hope, hopefully we get something back here in just a second. There we go. There it is. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why that happened. My apologies on that. Okay. What we got here? Okay, so we had three. A few minutes ago, we did have some rotation up in Steuben County, Indiana, and that's going to be up on, I believe it's this storm up here. 775 and 65 near Hamilton. I could be wrong. Okay, no, it's on the Warren cell. Okay, so there's rotation. This cell is just west of Eden right now. So again, if you're in Eden along State Route 34 here, you need to be in your safe space, lowest level of your home, a basement. If you don't have a basement, you want to get into an interior room such as a bathroom or a closet or an interior hallway. Put as many walls between you as you can and the outside of your home. If you're in a mobile home, it's too late to get out, unfortunately. We just don't have that time left. So if you are in a mobile home, you're going to want to hunker down in the center of it as best as you can. Again, just put as much as you can between you and the exterior of your mobile home. We don't have any reports right now of a confirmed tornado on this particular cell. Again, it's radar indicated, and there is recent report of rotation just as it exited Steuben County, Indiana, now heading into Eden. So this is pretty much impacting town right now. There's our latest update. It's right over the town of Eden at the moment, and that's going to continue to follow. I believe this is State Route 34 right here. And that does, I know that does make a jog there, and it becomes something else. You guys have some letters and some other numbered things out there. I'm sorry, I'm not particularly familiar with all the streets that are out that way. A lot of this is farmland. So as it gets east of Eden, we're not dealing with a ton, but we do have people that live there. We have people that have farms, and this is their livelihood. So this is equally important to them as it is moving into a populated area. It is moving to a slightly populated area there in Eden right now. If you're in Blakesley, this is going to stay just north of you by a few miles. So I think you're going to be okay in Blakesley at the moment. We'll keep an eye on it. I would still at least be super alert, or if you are kind of worried, take shelter. We are getting an update on this tornado warning right now, which is the flashing you're seeing on your screen. And again, it remains radar indicated rotation over Eden, moving east at 35 miles per hour. And again, this is going to remain over generally rural areas. If you are near Interstate 80, near mile marker 9, you may be impacted, but that is going to be the northernmost corner of that warning. And I think that is generally going to stay south of you guys. Same for Montpelier. You're not in the warning right now. It's just to your west. I believe the actual area of rotation will likely stay south of you. You may get to heavy rain, maybe even some small hail with that as well. But as of right now, I'm not expecting that to impact there. Not real sure if we're going to extend this warning into the eastern portion of Williams County or any of the other counties further east. At the moment, we're going to keep an eye on this, obviously. And looking at velocity right now, yeah, this did pick up a little bit better now. So our rotation here is much better. So here we have, again, the reds, that's going to be the inflows. The green is coming around this way. So it's a bit broad. It's not super tight enough, but it is definitely trying to do something here. Again, this could end up just being a wall cloud, a brief funnel cloud. It could end up just being the entire base of the storm rotating as well. But you know, either way, we're going to treat this pretty seriously as if there is something that could develop at any time. Because again, if it does develop at any time, it's going to happen quick, and you're not going to have time to react if you're in this area. Again, mainly farmland out here, but there are people that live out this way, and their livelihood is their farm. So we're going to do our best to provide that service to them to keep them safe as well. If you know anybody in the area, reach out to them. Let them know, hey, this is what's going on and you should take shelter. Again, if you're in Blakesley, if you're watching from Blakesley, this is generally north of you. That's going to stay north of you. You guys are going to be okay. If you are south of Township or County Road 1 there, I'm going to go with County Road 1 on that. For the most part, I believe you guys are going to be okay. I don't particularly see where it's not raining down here or very little rain anyways, getting any tornadic activity at this particular time. It's pretty much going to stay between 34, I know 34 makes a jog right here, and then I believe that's going to be County Road J. And is that L? Looks like L perhaps as well. It might be I. No, it's going to be, so we got JK. I shouldn't be doing that, but I believe it's going to stay between those two roads. My bad. That might be County Road I. And there we go. So there's our update here. Little bit better there. That's going to pass again. It's just north of Blakesley there at County Road I, and where 34 turns off as well. And yeah, it's broad. It is a little bit more organized, but it's also still on the broad side too. A little bit better here looking at our rotation product. We are getting some, if you will, higher returns, if you will. This is a derived product, so it's done by a bunch of fancy math and algorithms and things like that. And so as we get these brighter colors, that's indicative of a better chance, if you will, for rotation or even a value that's giving us a indication that yes, the storm is rotating. And you know, when we start getting to those pinks and reds, that's definitely telling us that this particular storm is potentially rotating. And we can see actually here a little bit better. Now we got a more supercellular look right here, right? So this whole cell right here is becoming discrete from all of this rain. It is connected in a sense, but it's able to kind of disassociate itself. It's been developing. Now we got some higher returns here indicative of some hail, and we have this nice well-defined hook with this nice inflow and a kind of a rain-free base. So this could potentially produce, if you are east of this tornado warning, it is possible that they issue another tornado warning. If they do, obviously we're going to stay with you. I believe I'm just getting a report here. We have a funnel cloud now reported in Williams County, not on the ground. This is a funnel cloud in this area on this storm. So we do have a funnel cloud. So again, if you're in this area, you're going to want to take shelter right away because that funnel cloud could touch down at any time. So it's pretty much between County Road J and I believe that's I. Yes, H-I-J, yes. So County Roads I and J right now. If you're along, I believe this is going to be State Route, I'm sorry, that's not State Route 6. That's going to be County Road 6. You're going to want to take shelter because that's pretty much on top of you right now. If you're east towards like Maple Crest, south of Montpelier, along 576, or any of these other county roads out here, you should be taking shelter because this could certainly develop in any time. I know I mentioned some folks outside of the tornado warning. I'm just going to anticipate that they're going to extend this tornado warning or issue a new one to the east. This is kind of falling apart just a touch, but it's still pretty good. Let's take a look at our rotation products. Yep, still some good rotation there, and velocity is looking good too. This is our correlation coefficient, or you know, kind of what we look at to see of things in the air correlate with what's around it. So when we get these lower values like this, it's not correlating very well. This is air coming into the storm, but we do have this little drop right here around all this red. So we do have something going on there. Again, nothing confirmed on the ground at the moment, but it is something to continue to watch. Just looking here. Okay, so far that's all we got at the moment. This tornado warning continues till 9:45 p.m. I do want to stress that if you are east of there, along County Road J towards Maple Crest, Halleck, West Jefferson, and even a little bit further east, heading towards Route 127, they may issue another tornado warning to include that area. That could get out towards Pulaski and Bryan as well. Bryan's awfully far south, but I wouldn't be surprised if they throw you guys in the warning anyways. No tornado warning there yet, but I do want to caution you that you know, it is possible looking at radar right now that they could. Now, here's some good news here with the radar too. This particular little cell is cycling, and we lost that rotation in a hurry. Look at this. So we have our hook here is gone, right? We don't have that little, you know, impingement there. It's kind of lifted a little bit, and we also lost some of the rotation here on our rotation product. The values here aren't quite as high. You know, we don't have those pinks and some of the reds there. We're down to some of the blues. The black is just kind of, it's just there. It's just painting with precipitation basically. So that's pretty weak. And then finally we look at our velocity product there. It's not quite as good as it was earlier. That's not to say this can't cycle. We did just see it cycle as we were live here, so it went from not too bad to something that looked like it was going to do something over Eden, did produce a funnel cloud, and now it's lifted, it looks like. So that's great news. This could cycle. It is getting towards the eastern edge of the tornado warning box. As of right now, I don't have any official word that they're going to extend that tornado warning, and based on this latest radar scan, if this trend continues, I would anticipate them not issuing one right now. But that's not to say that couldn't change in a hurry. So it is something that we will continue to keep an eye on. We're going to stay with you here. This warning goes for 13 more minutes, so we are going to stay with you through this right now, and we may stay on just a few minutes after that to kind of talk about tomorrow's threat too, because I know a couple people have probably some questions right that. Again, right now, I don't know why tornado sirens are going off in Bryan, Ohio. Lori, on our YouTube channel, you are not under a tornado warning, not under any sort of severe weather warning, and you guys are, look at Bryan, they're getting some rain. So if sirens are going off, you guys need to write your officials and be like, what are you guys doing? Because that's crazy. They should not be going off. Looking at this cell now, it is trying to cycle back around here. It's certainly trying to. Yeah, see, I'm going to do this right here. Yeah, okay. Can I do the brush? No, it doesn't like it when I do that. Okay, so we'll draw right here. And let's see if we can zoom in on this. That little spot right there is certainly interesting. That peaked a little bit. So let's go ahead and look at our velocity. Yeah, this is starting to come back around. So this cell's not done yet. It's towards the eastern edge of that tornado warning, but this cell is not done yet, guys. It is still trying to cycle back around. We're still seeing that rotation trying to redevelop there on that cell. So right now Montpelier is kind of getting some heavy rain, maybe some small hail in there, although the velocities did come down a little heavier east of there, but we're looking south of there right now, and we're generally going to look, well, I'm too far out for all the county roads, my bad. Those were county roads, by the way. I zoomed in enough and it actually painted the actual road name. So yeah, right now we're between county roads I and J, and heading towards County Road 10 and Route 576. So it's headed that way. Also headed towards Maple Crest, which is not currently in a tornado warning. It's not doing much in the way of rotation right now, but it's trying to get its act together. So we're going to just continue to keep an eye on that. Yeah, I don't want her to talk about tornado sirens right now. Maybe we'll have a brief little lesson on why I hate sirens in a moment. But with the active tornado warning right now, we'll wait. I despise tornado sirens. They are not a great warning device to this day and age. And there are no standards with them either. I'm going to take a quick peek, a quick peek back in northeastern Indiana towards Fremont here at this particular cell. I am kind of just watching it a little bit. It's not rotating, that's great, but it's certainly a strong cell that could get into far northwestern Ohio here. But as of right now, it's not trying to do anything. That's good. Hopefully it stays that way. I am hoping that the tornado warning is allowed to expire here in 10 minutes and that we don't get a new one and this storm decides to settle down a little bit. That would be awesome. But it's still trying to hang on to dear life here at the moment. Again, it's not showing too many signs of rotation right now. This is good. Still some very broad rotation there, but I don't particularly like the look of the structure. Here's the update on the tornado warning. I got a feeling they're going to say they're going to allow it to expire. Yep, that's exactly what they're saying. It's going to expire at 9:45. Storm weakened below severe limits, doesn't seem to be producing a tornado or capable of it, so therefore this tornado warning is going to expire at 9:45. That's in 9 minutes, guys. This storm is going to be out of that for now. So honestly, right now, if you are watching and you are west of County Road 6, you guys are definitely in the clear. If you are near County Road 10, it's pretty much right over you right now. So all indications are they're not going to issue a new tornado warning. They're not going to issue a new tornado warning right now for the rest of Williams County or anywhere west of this current one. We are going to watch this cell up here in northwest Indiana, or excuse me, northeast Indiana. I'll get my directions down, I promise. And because I don't particularly like the way that looks on the velocity or the reflectivity here, but I wanted to see if this was going to update here any moment. There it goes. Okay, yeah, it's not looking super great. It's looking a lot less, which is really, really, really good. And it looks like that's going to be the same here too. Broad, very broad, maybe some weak rotation, but this is more shear-like than it is rotation. So that's some good news there. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here, and yeah, it's not too bad. We'll keep an eye on it. But I want to go up here near Clear Lake, Indiana, along State Route 120. I know this is in our coverage area, but I do just want to take a quick peek here at a few things. Yeah, it's not rotating. That's great. But then you start getting into this little hook-like thing right here along the leading edge. And we kind of talked about that. Sometimes this is the only good look we get. This is still kind of supercell-like where we have this little hook here. We have our hail core here, and that flashing red is indicative of some higher reflectivity values. So we could see some small hail there. It's just kind of giving us a visual cue as to, hey, this could be doing something. Just keep an eye on it. That's all it's for. It's not for trying to scare anybody. Keep an eye on that cell. Here our cell has moved out of the tornado warned area. So that anybody in the tornado warning now is officially in the clear. This particular cell now south of Montpelier along County Road J and moving towards Maple Crest. It's pretty much right at County Road J and State Route 576 at the moment. And actually now just a touch east of there now. Yeah, not much in the way of rotation. Very, very good. Okay, awesome. We'll keep an eye on that cell up there. I don't think it's really going to graze Williams County. I think it'll stay generally just north of the state line. But if they do issue anything, it may the warning itself may actually get into Ohio. But right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Cool. Lori, no problem. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Definitely share that with your friends and family. I try to do as much video stuff on there as I can. It's pretty much just a few nights a week. It's kind of just when I have time for it, unfortunately. But I do appreciate that. So if you haven't and you're watching, go to YouTube, search Ohio News and Weather, hit that subscribe button, and share that with your friends and family. If we do live, we go to Facebook and YouTube concurrently, and we can monitor both chats live as well. So definitely do that. Just in case one's down, you know, Facebook isn't always up. Likewise, neither is YouTube. But in case one's down, you got the other as a backup. So that always helps. Quick note on tornado sirens. Tornado sirens are ancient technology compared to today's standards. In the state of Ohio, there are no standards for when those sirens get sounded or when they don't get sounded. It is up to the county. Typically, the Emergency Management Agency, or EMA, dictates that, but that's not always the case. Again, no standards. There's no state law on sirens. They're not required to have them. They're not required to use them if they do have them. They can sound them for whatever they want. I remember growing up, there was a town that had its own siren. That was it, and they would set it off at a certain time during the summer because that marked curfew. The tornado siren, or really it was the fire department siren, would sound at a certain time, and that was the signal that curfew started for those younger folk running around. You had to go home. It's back in the day. But anyway, when it comes to severe weather, some counties are sounding them for things they shouldn't. If there's a tornado warning in the county, they're sounding it across the entire county. Maybe that's how it's set up. If it is, their setup is ancient. If that's just their policy is ancient. It should only be sounding really for things inside the polygon. That technology does exist. It's existed for a long time, but you got to pay for it. It's not cheap. You got to be really careful. So siren sounding in Bryan tells me that they're sounding for all of Williams County. And that warning only affected kind of that west central part of Williams County. Didn't affect Bryan or Stryker or West Unity. And those guys were getting, if they have sirens, they're getting that alert and wondering what the heck's going on. Same in Medina County. I know Medina County, they sound them county-wide if there's a warning anywhere in the county. And so many times in Medina County, it's just like the northern part or the western part, or something like that. It's a small part of the county sometimes that gets in that warning. My other pet peeve is when they sound sirens for severe thunderstorm warnings. Yes, it's a strong storm, but if I am visiting the county per se, how do I know it's a severe thunderstorm warning and not a tornado warning? It's hard to differentiate unless you know what that county particularly does, and they don't really publish that information very well. We have technology, we have smartphones, you have a computer, you have all sorts of things, social media. There's a bazillion weather apps out there. By the way, you can download ours, Ohio News and Weather, for free. You'll want that for tomorrow. We'll get into that in just a moment. All sorts of things out there that can alert you based on your location. So you don't need to rely on a siren. The siren isn't going to be the dead giveaway that something's absolutely coming. You guys trust your weather app for telling me the weather all the time, and you go, this doesn't say that. We already had that today for stuff today, and especially stuff for tomorrow. So apparently the weather app's right, the siren's right, and I'm not. I mean, come on, guys, let's get real. We're not expecting any other severe weather really tonight. So if you're anywhere else in Ohio, we're not really expecting too much. We do have, I'm going to click this on. We do have some storms kind of moving through central Ohio here. These are all non-severe. These are garden variety thunderstorms, guys. So you don't have to worry about anything crazy going on. We'll click this over to Wilmington just to get a better view. So the storm north of Marysville here, just to show you, we're not looking at any real rotation or anything like that. This is good, and I'm not expecting that. This environment here is not really indicative of strong to severe storms. That was more up in northwestern Ohio, and that's pretty much where we saw it. We do have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect for far northwestern Ohio for about another hour, so that should go until 11 p.m. It does. It goes to 11 p.m. And I wouldn't be surprised if that gets dropped a little early because there's not much left in the way of storms out there. So these storms here moving through kind of this central part of Ohio there really aren't going to be severe. It could be strong, heavy rain, a lot of thunder and lightning, maybe even some small hail, but that's going to be it. We're not expecting any other severe weather elsewhere. These storms up here, continue to kind of weaken and fall apart as they continue to move east into a less favorable environment, and that's great news. So we're going to continue to just monitor that, but in the meantime, again, not expecting much else in the way of severe weather here this evening. For tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. We're going to click off the radar, guys, and then we're just going to throw on our outlook here. And this is our day 2 outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. So we'll kind of play around with a couple things here on screen. And here's what we got right now. We have a marginal risk for, let's go over here, marginal risk for Eastern Ohio, pretty much anywhere east of 77. From 77 west, there's a slight risk. So that's going to include west side of Cleveland, Medina, Mansfield, Columbus, Springfield, Dayton, Cincinnati, all the way to Chillicothe and almost Athens. And then in the western part of Ohio, kind of northwestern and west central Ohio, really almost all the way down in the, I guess, parts of southwestern Ohio. Let's just say it's going to be west of I-75, and there's probably a better road to use here. I think 127 goes through here, so that may not be a bad road to use, actually. And that's our enhanced risk. And then we got this moderate risk back here. I'm going to span this out just a little bit just to kind of show you really where the biggest risk is, because I want you to understand a couple things here. So where that moderate risk is across portions of central Illinois into western Indiana here, this is really where everything's going to focus. This is going to be kind of the afternoon into the early evening here. This could get quite potent. Models been painting a lot of threats here, a lot of dynamics in place for some very strong storms. Tornadoes are certainly likely here, potential for a couple strong to intense tornadoes. That's EF3 or greater. That's not in Ohio. That is in Illinois and Indiana. So when we look at that, this is what we have for the probabilistic outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. You kind of see that correlates with that categorical, right? So we have all this hatching. These are different, basically like different threat levels, intensity levels, if you will. And it's really just their way of communicating where they think the best potential is for tornadoes. So we got this one here. This is going to be, I think the category is 2, and they call it something particular, and it's leaving my mind right now. And then we have up in Ohio, we have a 5% probability of a tornado anywhere in there. And then in this green area is a 2% probability of a tornado. So if you have 10 storms, 2 of them might produce a tornado, or excuse me, less than 1 of them might produce a tornado. 2 would be 20%, my bad. So if you have 10 storms, less than 1 of them have a chance of producing a tornado. So that's kind of what we're looking at when we look at probabilistic, right? It's pretty low. We do have this hatched area here, so what they're indicating is that there is a bit of a higher potential, if you will, to see a strong tornado, and that could be EF2 to EF3. But again, this is very conditional. As everything moves into Ohio, we'll look at modeling in just a moment. Everything moves into Ohio. It is starting to weaken a little bit. It's late, and it's also trying to congeal into a line. But we have a lot of dynamics in place. The daytime heating, we'll have plenty of it, is not going to really play into things too much. We're not going to start stabilizing at sunset or anything like that. We got a lot of other dynamics in place. We got a lot of warm air surging in. We got a lot of wind aloft, a lot of shear, a lot of the good ingredients we need to sustain storms well past sundown is going to be in place here. That's not to scare anybody, because as this continues to push out and east, essentially, it is going to weaken. So that's why we're seeing that threat that as it continues eastward. Now, this could continue into Thursday morning, and we could still see some interesting storms across southern Ohio Thursday morning, but I think there'll be more of a wind type thing. Wind as well, looking at our wind outlook here. Again, they have what do I want to say here? The hatching as well. It gets a little bit further east, and that is our big threat for us. Wind is definitely the big threat across the western portion of Ohio for sure. Hail is also a threat, but really the best threat for that is going to be far western Ohio And then I want to get into, yeah, so we have the conditional intensity group 1 risk. So that is, okay, so that is what we're looking at there. That's what the hatching means. So we have 1, 2, and some of, tornado has 3. We don't really want the probabilistic outlooks. Let's go back to here. Yep, cool. Let's take a look at some modeling. Let's do that. I'm still monitoring the chat. We're not going to stay live for much longer here, but we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at some of our modeling here. I got to pull up the right one here, and then bear with me just a moment because this program's a little bit different. I got to stop this. I got to do that. There we go. Now to get that out of the way. Cool. Let's drag this all the way to here. Ah, yes, here we go. Models are interesting with this event. And this is something you really don't want to see. I know this is not Ohio, guys, but this is something you don't want to really see. A line of supercells. We have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 of them there. I guess 6 if you count the cell here over Bloomington. These are all discrete. Something like this is going to produce microburst, large hail, and tornadoes that could be of a significant nature when we get this kind of setup here. We don't see this too often, fortunately, and if we do see it, it's usually not in Ohio. Good news there for us, but not too good out here towards western Missouri and across central Illinois. Also a pretty nice cell here around southeastern Indiana, and this time frame I believe is about 6 p.m. It is 5 p.m. And then as we continue into the evening, here we are at 8 o'clock. So you can see these cells have kind of become pretty discrete there, but we look here in Ohio, and I know we see all the values. Don't worry about the values. Unfortunately, I can't turn them off. But across Indiana, we have several discrete cells here, and any one of these is really capable of producing large hail, damaging wind, or a tornado or two. And then as we continue here into the evening, this is going to be 10 p.m. as we get into western Ohio. You can see it's kind of messy. It's kind of how the models have been. By midnight, we still got a pretty nice line of storms right here. Here's our line of storms running from Muncie up towards almost Mansfield. And then we got some stuff out ahead of it, and it's the stuff out ahead of it that we're going to see, that we see develop. If it develops, this will be the discrete cells, and this will be the stuff that's a bit more concerning in the way of strong damaging winds, large hail, and some tornado threat as well. So we have to watch that really, really close. Again, the best threat is going to be across western Ohio, generally west of I-75 right now. If anything changes overnight, come tomorrow morning, we'll make sure we post that to our page, but hopefully we don't see anything too crazy. As we go through the overnight here, here we are, this is 3 a.m., and we got this line of storms. It's kind of a bit more broken, and it's almost kind of multicellular, if you will. Weaker, kind of strong, strongest, kind of like that. But these all will pose damaging winds, hail, and perhaps an isolated tornado threat. That could get into parts of southeastern Ohio. But if this congeals more into a line or breaks up, it's more of a damaging wind threat. But we could see, not to rule it out, an isolated tornado threat. This is 5 a.m. Thursday morning along the Ohio River, and then you really have to get into about 7 a.m. there, and we kind of get out of it then. So just keep that in mind. This is a pretty significant severe weather threat overall, and it could be a long evening in western Ohio there. We are going to do our best to do some live streaming if this does develop. Yeah, see this particular cell here near Cincinnati, this is 6 p.m. and it's out ahead of that line. It's a big cell. So this could be a bit concerning if stuff like this develops. That will have that potential for a tornado threat, as well as very large hail and damaging winds. So that is something we will have to kind of monitor as we head into the morning and early afternoon hours tomorrow. So again, that's all for tomorrow. Again, Eastern Ohio not looking too significant. You'll see some storms, could be severe. The Cleveland area is not too bad. So Cleveland to Akron, Medina, Youngstown, Ashtabula, you could see some strong storms, maybe a severe storm if we get enough together where we get some wind. But I think the biggest threat is going to be pretty much, again, Western Ohio, parts of Central Ohio as well. And then we're gonna have to watch that overnight in the Southeastern Ohio, those early morning hours. Those cells could get a little feisty with things. So it's just something to consider as we go through tomorrow. I'm gonna pull up one other model here. Let's see. Oh, good, it's out. Excellent. It should, oh, come on. Okay, there we go. Should take us into tomorrow. This is a different model. It's high resolution rapid refresh model. A little bit noisier than our other model there. And the other model I showed actually will replace this one. But here it does the same thing, just further west. And timing and location were kind of some things. So here we have a very broken line of cells. Kind of breaks right there a little bit, but a lot of cells, these could be supercellular with rotation, of course, possible tornadoes, hail, damaging winds, all that fun stuff. That is at 7 p.m. And then they will move pretty quick. And so here we are at 10 p.m. 10 p.m., well past sunset. Look at these cells across Indiana. And even up into lower Michigan could get some interesting weather. They tend to with this kind of setup. So that's a pretty good indication. We again got to watch some of the cells out ahead of it here in Ohio, but it's something to watch. That's it. Here's midnight. We have a line of storms pretty much running from Findlay all the way down towards Bloomington and even past that in Indiana. And then as we go past midnight, here we are at 2 a.m. This line of storms pretty much parallels Interstate 71 from Mansfield to Cincinnati. This could have embedded rotation in it. So kind of what we're seeing here, this is some interesting stuff on the models. The resolution's high enough, you get this, you kind of see these embedded areas of rotation. You'll hear the term like mesolow, or even the wrong term, mesovortice. That's with a tornado. I like mesolow a little bit better there, but we kind of see this curvature in the simulated reflectivity product here. And we'll see this on radar too, if it does develop. We'll see the similar signature, and this is usually indicative of a rotating storm. At the same time, a lot of wind with this. Is this becoming more of a line? So we are going to have some wind damage, and as we get into 4 a.m., now we have more of a line. So now everything is more linear from pretty much Waverly on south into Kentucky. This is more wind damage threat with maybe some embedded QLCS type spin-ups. So we still have to watch that. And then as you get into 6 a.m. here, you're pretty much along the river at this point. But that's still a pretty potent line. And then it's pretty much out of here by 7. So we'll have to watch that closely as we head into the day on Wednesday. Let's go ahead and go back to our radar real quick, guys. There are no more severe weather warnings in effect right now. The tornado warning has expired. The strongest storm we have right now is pretty much impacting Delaware. They do have a special weather statement out for northwestern Delaware and central Union County through 10:15. Wind gusts to 40 miles an hour and some pea-sized hail with that. So it's pretty much along Route 4 near Ferrisburg and Magnetic Springs, moving east towards Radnor, Troyton, US 23. It'll pass very near Delaware, probably hit the northern edge of town. Leonard's Leonardsburg, Ashley, and Kilbourne, and essentially all in that path of that. That's not a severe weather warning. That is just a special weather statement, just kind of emphasizing it. Yes, this is a strong storm. Here's what you can expect. Looks like a little rain just developed over kind of the northeast side of Columbus there, heading towards Gahanna and the airport. But again, all that's non-severe. I'm not expecting any more severe weather in Ohio tonight. We do have this severe thunderstorm watch for these handful of counties up here till 11 p.m. They'll probably just allow that to expire, but it is possible they drop it a little on the earlier side. But not that it matters. Not expecting any more severe weather or anything like that this evening. Other than that, we are going to keep an eye on things for your Wednesday. Again, it is going to be late, so we'll do our best to stream. All of the warnings, watches, anything like that do automatically post to our Facebook page. If you're not already following us there, you can do that and you'll see those as well. But we will do our best to do some sort of a live. It is going to be kind of late, so it may be a couple people. Just keep that in mind. Other than that, I do thank you for joining me for our live stream here. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook if you haven't already, and subscribe to our YouTube page as well. Again, we stream there concurrently, and you'll find videos from me on there a few times a week, kind of going over the weather across the state over the next several days as well. And other than that, I hope you guys have a good evening. Stay safe, and we'll see you.